My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full UFC fight cards. We give you our picks, our bets, and our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And our videos are brought to you by BETU Play to Earn. BETU Play to Earn is the world's first play-to-earn sports and esports betting game. Check it out now at betuearn.com. That's bet, the letter U, earn.com. And ODDSJAM. ODDSJAM.com has the fastest real-time data from all the sports books, and it helps you spot discrepancies and make sure that you hit your spots and get the best odds available for every single fight and every single sporting event. Check them out now at oddsjam.com. Next up, at UFC Columbus, we have Aliaskhab Khizriev versus Denis Tiuliulin. Aliaskhab Khizriev is 13-0, so he's obviously 5-0 in his last five, but he is coming off somewhat of a long layoff. A little over a year he's been on the sidelines. Denis Tiuliulin is 10-5 overall, 4-1 in his last five, with all four of those wins, including the loss, being finishes. Aliaskhab Khizriev is a hyped middleweight prospect, and he fights exactly the way you expect him to with a name like that. He's a powerful grappler with big, heavy strikes in the feet. He has relentless wrestling and incredible pressure on the ground. He has fantastic submissions as well, and he isn't just looking for a boring wrestling decision. When he gets on top, he's pounding away. He's looking for submissions, and he's constantly trying to make something happen. Denis Tiuliulin is a really fun come-forward fighter who's always hunting for a finish. I want to say he has no problem getting into a slugfest, but it's not that he has no problem doing it. That's what he wants to do. He enjoys a slugfest, and that's the fight he wants to be in. It's almost as if his game plan is to make a fight as ugly as possible and as fast-paced as possible so that he can thrive in that chaos. He has legit power in his hands, but he does have grappling holes. I think at this point, you guys have heard me, I've been very vocal about the Contender Series fade. I think that's such ridiculous nonsense. So at this point, you guys should know my stance on the Contender Series fade. We have picked plenty of Contender Series fighter who have won and dominated in those wins after. We also have some that have lost as well, but that's the point. Fading somebody because their last fight was on a Tuesday night is nonsense. It's a ridiculous narrative, and it shouldn't even be a factor in any of these breakdowns. But this is an interesting one because I know there are still some Contender Series fade believers out there. And Khizriev is coming off the Contender Series, but he's nasty. But that Contender Series fight was over a year ago, so I don't know what the hell you people are going to do. But for me, this is a pretty straightforward pick. And just go watch Denis fight Jean-Patrick, and you'll know everything you need to know. He had success on his feet. No real answer for the wrestling or the grappling. He was able to stun Jean-Patrick a few times, but Khizriev has a much better chin than Jean-Patrick does, much better wrestling than Jean-Patrick does, and I think he will be absolutely unfazed on his feet, clear path to victory with the wrestling and the top control. I mean, the dude's a massive favorite. I don't think I'm changing any minds here, but what do you think, Jicky boy?
I think Khizriev better grapple. You say, uh-oh?
Because you took too long. It's like, here we go.
Yeah, I honestly, I think Khizriev should grapple. He better grapple. That's where he's got a huge advantage. You mentioned the holes in Denis's game. He is, I don't want to say clueless down there, but he really is. If Khizriev wants to grapple, he should easily grapple and dominate this fight. But if he doesn't grapple, and sometimes in his fights he does strike, I think Denis is the better striker.
Oh, yeah.
And things could get very, very interesting on the feet because if you watch Khizriev, I don't think he's that good. I mean, he's a good grappler, but as a well-rounded fighter, he's just not there. He's 13-0. That record is a little inflated because if you watch the level of competition he's had, he just dominates those fights. And I mean, he can't really help. You know, he does exactly what you're supposed to do when you're beating, regional guys that aren't very good. But I mean, he's got a 57-second submission, a 57-second submission, a 39-second submission, a 28-second knockout, a 58-second knockout, a 50-second submission. So he hasn't really been in, and I'm not saying Denis is like this next level guy that's going to, take the head off the dragon here, but this could get very interesting if this stays on the feet. And Khizriev has shown before that he's willing to bang a little bit. So if you're Khizriev, you better grapple. because things could get interesting. I don't like these odds at minus, whatever he is, minus 450, whatever. And I might throw a little bit of a flyer on Dennis for like a weird KO knockout because, as you mentioned, when he wins,
he's got power.
Yeah, it's usually with knockout, and he throws it. He knows that's what he's got. So this thing could get this could be very dominant or get very interesting. But my pick is Khizriev.
This is old school striker versus grappler. I think it's literally that cut and dry. I think if Khizriev does anything other than grapple, it's stupid. That's your path to victory. Take the path to victory because I mentioned that Sean Patrick fight. The reason I mentioned that fight is because it's exactly this. It's striker versus grappler, but Sean Patrick's not as good of a grappler as Khizriev. I don't think his chin is as solid either. But Denis Tiuliulin stunned him many times. Not many, but a handful of times in that fight. So very, very clear path to victory here. Hopefully he takes it. That's why he's a minus 500 favorite. I assume he does. We do not have DraftKings pricing just yet because Denis Tiuliulin is stepping up on short notice. So he's a last-minute replacement here. I forgot to mention that. So that's obviously important as well. And Monkey Knife Fight, 43-23. Man, this is such a tricky line because I think it's less if you look at their records, right? But I think it's more if Dennis just has a little bit of success. If he can create that just tornado of chaos that he likes to do, I think he gets past that 23. And then Khizriev on top is very busy, but Tiuliulin's clueless. It's probably less, honestly, but this could be, 1.5 rounds. They both blow past this, in my opinion. What do you think?
I think this is a short fight. I think, especially short notice, he's going to come in throwing bombs and either get double legged and submitted, or he's going to knock the dude out. So I think this would be like an under. I'm going to play probably the under 1.5 on this. So I think it's a less.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. That's probably the safer play, especially if you look at their records. But I mean, Dennis, 23 strikes. He does swing wild, fast and wild. So if he has a little bit of success, he'll get past that. But yeah, 43. I guess if he gets one takedown, that's pretty much it from there because there are some big holes for Dennis.
And it could be either on his back or mount within seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, less is probably the play. Check that out at WeWantPicks.com/MKF and check out our $50 bonus offer. If you go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our 5 betting partners, make a deposit, let us know after you do, and we send you $50 as a thank you. It's literally that simple. Click the links, make a deposit, get yourself paid.